Hey Colin, everyone else. This is my entry to the Show Me What Else You Collect contest. As I've talked about a couple of different times, I think on top of records, I'm a big reader and I collect books, and figured I'd show you some of my books. So, turn the camera around here. Um, I don't really have these in a specific order. Most of them I have read, and well, let me just start talking about them. A lot of good crime novels. Ace Atkins is really, really good. So I read a lot of him. Who else? Joseph Wambaugh has got some really cool stuff as well, classic stuff. I read a lot of that. But of course, I've got the music books. Ghost Rider by Neil Peart is really good. Um, Long Strange Trip by the Dead. That's probably the best Grateful Dead book around. Read by Sammy Hagar. The couple of Ozzy books. The cool thing about this one, I Am Ozzy. Even if you don't like Black Sabbath, that's work. Or Ozzy for that matter. That's worth picking up. It's got some great stories in it, and just an all-around, just a hilarious book. Phil Lesh, Searching for the Sound, another great book about Phil Lesh's experiences with the Grateful Dead. Of course, John Grisham, I've got a bunch of him. I'm a big baseball fan as well. So Cal Ripken, Getting the Game is really good. Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, Pink Floyd. Those are rough guys, but those are really, really good. They're good for people just getting into those bands, and they're really good for guys who have listened to them forever like me. Full of information that I didn't know. My favorite book about the Doors would be Riders on the Storm by John Densmore, their drummer. Great book. I can't recommend that one highly enough either. So if you see that one, pick it up. Eric Clapton's an autobiography. That's really good. Led Zeppelin. That one's, which one is this? Good Times, Bad Times. That's a photo book. That's really good. Martin Popoff does Black Sabbath. I've got a Blue Oyster Cult book by him as well. Those are really, really great. And the Peter Criss Make Up to Break Up, just like the Ozzy Osbourne. Even if you don't like Kiss, that's well worth reading. It's a lot of fun. The Who by Numbers goes into their recordings and things like that. That's really cool. This book I've had, I'll go ahead and set it down and show everybody. I've had this since I was a kid. This is obviously a German book, and it's all about being a good person. And let me just show you. This book scared the hell out of me as a kid. You've got a guy on the front cover here who's unkempt, and so he eventually ends up dying. Everybody dies in this book. Okay. We'll start with this one. This has got a kid. The kid's just a menace. He's beating the hell out of everything. He's being a shit to his mother. He's mean to his dog. He's kicking his dog. He's beating his dog. Well, eventually his dog bites him, rightfully so. And the kid falls down and dies. All right, let's see. This little girl here, she's, playing with matches. She sets herself on fire and catches on fire and dies. Like I said, everybody dies in this book. Okay, we've got a black guy walking down the street, and these three kids are jeering him, just being all around jerks. And let's see, who is this? This is let's see, that's Saint Nicholas? Nicholas. Yeah, that's Saint Nicholas. Eventually dips them in ink, and they become they're darkened out, and they eventually die of ink poisoning. So that's one on racism. This hunter here, he's killing just for the sport, not for food. Well, eventually the hare takes his rifle from him and shoots him. This one got to me. This is a mother scolding her kid for sucking his thumbs, and this fella jumps out with a top hat, and I hope that's focusing pretty well, and eventually cuts this kid's thumbs off, and his thumbs are there, and he's bleeding, and that one got to me. We got a picky eater here. He eventually withers away and starves to death. This kid won't stop rocking back in his chair and being a menace at dinner, pulls it down, and the food and everything crushes and kills him. This kid's not watching where he's going. His dog's there to help him. Eventually the dog falls off, and the kid dies. Like I said, everybody dies in this book. No, that book scared the hell out of me, but it's just kind of one of those things that I wanted to share. Lone Star Justice about Texas Rangers. That's a great book. Battlefields and Blessings. This is all about courage on the battlefield. Big history buff as well. This has got one on the Revolutionary War, World War II. More Ace Atkins book. Shel Silverstein, A Light in the Attic. Love Shel Silverstein ever since I was a kid. Ron Jeremy, you gotta love it. It's a great book. Serpico off of Frank Serpico, one of my heroes. Let me get some of these Kiss figures out of the way, and I will show everybody this. This is a Star Wars novel I got when I was a kid, and a friend of my dad's, back in, what was this, 94, 95, they had somewhat of a convention, and I got it autographed by Dan Powers, the guy who played Darth Vader, Kenny Baker, who played R2-D2, and John, what's his name? John Hollis, who played Lobot. That was, if you guys are Empire Strikes Back fans, he was the guy who had those things on his ear, the white bald guy. So that's that. I always thought that was really cool. Got that as a kid as a complete surprise. Unsolved Crimes, just, you can guess what it is. Let's see. Argo, that's a really good book. Down Together, Bunny and Clyde, that's really excellent book. East to the Dawn, one of my heroes, Amelia Earhart, that's a fantastic book. Call of Duty by Captain Lynn Buck Compton. It's Band of Brothers, was based off of some of his courage, and that's an excellent book. Let's see, Tales of War, that's another one. Of course, Catcher in the Rye, Rocky 2, The Walrus Was Paul. This is an excellent Beatles book. Got so much stuff up here. This is great. This all goes into the whole death myth about Paul McCartney. I don't know if that's still in print, but that's one of my all-time favorite Beatles books. Just really, really, really cool stuff. Gates of Fire was based off of 300. A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking, another great book. Hunter S. Thompson, The Great Shark Hunt, that's a really great book. Leonard Skinner, that's a good one. Motley Crue, The Dirt. Capone, Beach Boys FAQ, that's a really cool series. There's a Blue Oyster Cult book I was talking about. Suffer in Silence, that's a good one. Salem's Lot is great. Texas Rangers. Duel, that's about Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr, the whole duel that, led up to them, the whole fight that led up to them dueling. Bootleg, that goes in the history of bootlegs. That's a great book. Star Wars, that was my dad's copy. So that's awesome. Of course, On the Road by Jack Kerouac, you gotta have that. That's a great book. Got a bunch of Kerouac. He's one of my favorites. Ayn Rand, The Fountainhead, classic. See, Astronomy for Dummies, Jim Croce, Ronald Reagan, The Reagan Diaries. Last Words by George Carlin, 20,000 Roads by Graham Parsons, Infantry Tactics by Erwin Rommel. Let's see, Glock, The History of Glock, Cops on the Street, that's another police book. Of course, Zappa, that's again a great one. Grand Funk, that's a really great book, goes into their history, really well done. Fellowship of the Rings, got the Lord of the Rings there, more Kerouac, Keith Moon, Led Zeppelin Bootleg Guide, Skydog, Dwayne Allman Story, great, Death in Yosemite, Sandy Koufax, one of the best pitchers of all time. Got that, let's see, and this is called Icebrink. This was the failed voyage of, let me get everything out of the way here. Again, I pile stuff, whoop, and it falls. This is great. This is the tragic fate of John Franklin's Lost Voyage. They were trying to find trying to navigate through the Arctic and find what was past that and find trade routes, but that's an excellent book. Rasputin Files, that's really great. My all-time favorite book, The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. Excellent Beatles book, The Beatles. I Mine, that's the 13th Floor Elevators. That's a really, 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 really good book. Very well done. Another one of my favorites, The Onion Field by Joseph Wambaugh. Excellent, excellent book. Let's see. Another great one, Kon-Tiki. This is another one of my favorite books. I've read that a million times. I absolutely love that book. I Am Malala, that's an excellent book, one of my favorites of last year. Definitely pick that up. These are kind of the bigger ones, books of Catholic saints, Genesis, the Beatles, Stones, kind of investing, Idiot's Guide to Investing, more John Grisham. The Beatles Complete, that goes into their recording history. That's another great one. More Grateful Dead, Star Wars, Kiss, Led Zeppelin, yada, yada, yada. Goes on and goes forth. Idiot's Guide to Understanding Einstein, Physics, Taxi, the book Handling Taxi. That's a great book off the television show. Really cool Monkeys book as well. That's awesome. Let's see, what else can I point out here? I would guess that's pretty much it. You know, these are just kind of more of rock biographies and things like that. But yeah, so books are kind of my thing on top of records. Don't know what else to say, but yeah, if you don't find me playing records, you'll usually find me with my nose in a book. Absolutely love reading. It's just one of those things I've always loved. Well, there it is. Thank you, Colin, for accepting this submission, and thanks everybody for watching. Y'all take care. Bye.